Hello everyone, it's me Colin on the ASCA League channel, and here we are for the 6th race of the Pennzoil Pro Series. We're here at the Canadian Tire Motorsports Park. This race is going to be interesting because it's the first road course race of the season, and it sure won't be the last. In fact, we will be going to another road course next week. Here are the point standings so far. Eric Willis still leads the points, but Jay Durrell in second. He is the man to watch here today, the road course ringer as we like to call him. Definitely going to be one to watch here today as he qualifies inside the top 10. Gonna have to see how he does. However, we also have some good guys up front. Here we see Brian Boone and Jack Newman. And let's get right in your starting lineup. Jack Newman, Brian Boone, you see starting on the front row. Two kind of drivers that you wouldn't expect to start on the front row, but nevertheless were quick. Nikita Rizkov and Daniel Voiles, Red Viper Racing teammates in row 2. Row 3, Sam Rogers and Kyle Collins. Row 4, Blaine Keys and Rick Witt. A nice starting spot for both of those drivers. Row 5, Jay Durrell and Jay Barker, the two Jays. Jay Durrell tends to be the road course master, and Jay Barker tends to be the short track master. Row 6, Nick Purcell and Ryan Dunn, a pair of Old Spice Racing teammates. Row 7, Jose Viquez and Michael Jones, who won the last road course at Watkins Glen. Row 8, Kyle Singer and Aaron Lukes, National Racing driver. Row 9, Matthew Brown and Jesse Dolan, two Ford drivers that, well, don't really qualify up front that often. Row 10, Webster Zygarde and Stuart Gratton, two Australian drivers. Row 11, Addison Steinbach and John Cittadino. Great starting spot for that Global Autosports driver. Row 12, Allison Davidson making her first start with Red Viper Racing, and Cody Russell is outside. Row 13, Nicholas Samudio and Derek Petrie. Row 14, Arshaw Sain and Joseph Strigley, two Canadians in that row. Row 15, Eric Willis and the Russian Dion Sky for Double T Motorsports. Row 16, Daniel Maxwell and Ryan Kendall for Tango Motorsports. Row 17, Zach Kmoski, Daytona Season 2 Daytona winner, and Brock McMahon is outside. Row 18, Martinsville winner Cesar Chavez and Zach Carr is looking for a win for SFR Racing. Row 19, Brian Lenning and AJ Davidson making another start for his own team. Row 20, John Gilbert and Tyler Selspin. For the final row, Cole Baker and Tony Green round out the field. And that is your starting lineup, all 42 drivers. Here are the 6 that did not make the race. And we are just about set to go racing here. As the cars make the final corner, pace car off, green flag is in the air. Here we are racing at Canadian Tire. And an awesome jump by Jack Newman to take the lead. Brian Boone settles in second, and the Red Viper Racing teammates go at it for third. Looks like Nikita will take the spot as we start our first out of 26 laps. This track has way more corners than a usual oval does, so it does take these drivers a lot longer to get around. Approximately a minute and a half, so it's a very long course. Not as long as the track will be going to next, Road America, but still pretty long. Looking back, a good battle here, the two Toyotas. Toyotas actually have not been that quick here this weekend, but surely Sam Rogers and Kyle Collins want to show that theory wrong. Looking back here, Blaine Keys getting overtaken by Jay Durrell here. Going down the backstretch, Jay Barker trying to push Keys. It looks like Durrell will have the preferred line going down here. This is the long back stretch that is very quick, but you got to make sure you can brake here. And Jay Durrell outbroke the number 60 car, and looks like Barker will go on with him. He makes it to third, but Brian Boone is on the back of the 7 car for second. But the 7 car of Jack Newman will lead the first lap of the race, and we got 26 more to go. Looking back in the field, we see Kyle Singer back here in the 11 car. Was that someone that went off there? I'm not sure. I thought I saw someone off in the grass. I could be wrong. And it looks like there was someone off. This is Addison Steinbach, and he just loses it on the corner exit. And he pierces the wall, and he's going to go for a tumble. And that is not how Addison Steinbach wants to start off the weekend, as he is out of the race at lap 2. Brian Boone still keeping a steady pace to the 7 car on lap 3. However, Boone is falling off just a little bit. Jack Newman seems to excel coming through these corners right here. really pulling the gap here, but how about Nikita Rizkov also staying in tune with them? Nikita was actually rumored to be leaving this track, and then not the track, the team, but that rumor has almost turned into reality as Red Viper Racing's team owner actually was pretty much agreeing to that statement. So I believe Nikita's just trying to say, hey, I'm deserving of this ride and trying to run up front. But obviously we also got some other teammates back here that are deserving as well. You see Daniel Voiles and Rick Witt sitting inside the top 5, so it's an RVR top 5 here, as 3 of the 5 cars are in the top 5. Here is Allison Davidson. This car is actually a Davidson Motorsports car that has gone to the RVR stable, and the Pennzoil steam, everything applies, except now the 17 rides aboard that car, the car that was driven by Cooper Syron in Season 2, now driven by Allison Davidson. As a kind of an agreement between the two teams as an alliance, Davidson Motorsports has been rumored to be leaving the series because of poor performance and just basically blending into Red Viper Racing. And that rumor's coming true, well, this is definitely proof, as one car going over to the RVR stable. But how about this, Matthew Brown? I gotta give a handout to Matthew Brown and DW Motorsports in general. This team has not had some successful finishes, but they've definitely been running well. Matthew Brown, I believe he's been in the top 3 almost every race this season. He just hasn't been able to get the finishes he needs. He is sitting 16th in points. That is pretty well for how he's finished, but you definitely got to give the 21 credit. He is doing a lot better than he's really being recognized for. His teammate Daniel Maxwell, maybe not so much. He's been struggling as well, but still doing better than when he was at the 69 car for ADT Racing last year. Looking at Nicholas Mudio, talk about a horrible season. Just think about Season 1 for this team, but he's just steadily grown, and eventually he's just actually moved his way up into the field. And almost under our noses, he is 12th in points, pretty securely locked in. So the 62 team is looking on making the chase. We thought he was going to do it last year, but it really wasn't meant to be after he missed Daytona. However, this year has gone much better for him. And now with sponsorship from NOS and Sylvania, this team definitely is starting to become a top 10 contending team for even for wins. We're going to get our Jay Durrell update report here as the Fitzwater Australia Racing driver moving his way through the field, however not as quickly as one may think. He's sitting in 7th right now, so he's gained 3 positions. However, I wouldn't really count Jay Durrell out of it now. He has moved up 3 positions, but I still gotta say, Durrell, he has a knack for these road courses, so he could see something spectacular maybe after the first round of pit stops. Because remember, there are no cautions at this track. This is a full course green flag, so if you screw up, you're pretty much done for the race. Now remember how I said the Toyotas were struggling? Well, let's just take SFR Racing for an example. They're a team that has been doing really well the past few weeks. However, all their cars are running outside the top 30. In fact, this is Zach Komoski right here, who's been doing excellent the past few weeks. Just doesn't seem like these cars are fit to handle on road courses as well as they are on short tracks and mile and a halves. But Zach Komoski currently is just looking for some luck here, as he is all the way in the back. In fact, the only car behind him is his teammate Tyler Selspin, so that doesn't make anything easier. And you see Zach Cars, the other Zach, the only other teammate on the team, only about 3 positions in front, actually 2, but yeah, the entire operation for SFR is a disaster right now. Also included in there is AJ Davidson, and this is just heartbreaking for him. After firing basically Mackenzie Rustin from the 52 team, the team has been looking for someone to fill the ride. It has been confirmed to be both Jack Porkins and Cody Smart from the CAS roster. However, for this race, it is AJ Davidson because both of those drivers were not able to make it here to Canadian Tire. However, Davidson wishes he would be putting on a better show than he is now, but currently that is not the case as he is running outside the top 30 along with SFR. And seeing as how good the Dodges have been running this week, it's kind of confusing why Davidson isn't running any better. Eric Willis, this is our points leader by 29 points over Jay Durrell. However, he may lose all of those points because he is running mid-20s right now. It's not technically a bad result right now for Eric Willis, but definitely could be better. And when it comes to keeping the points lead, that's not where you want to be running. Anywhere inside the top 20 is fine, but once you get outside the top 20, you start losing major points. and especially to someone who's running inside the top 10, such as Jay Durrell. Zach Komoski is third in points, so he's going to be losing a lot as well, but Brian Boone is sitting in fourth, and you know where Brian Boone is. Make sure to check the top 3 if you do not know. Boone is running third. As we also look back here, some more examples that Toyota is not doing well. The entirety of Double T Motorsports, pretty much other than Jose Viquez, which is running about a top 10, are in the back here. We see Joseph Strigley, Dion Scott back there as well. And we're looking up front. Nikita Rizkov has gotten around Brian Boone, and now he is challenging Jack Newman. And a burst of speed out of the 16. He's going to try on the inside line. And wow, what an incredible performance by the 16 crew, as they are getting the car up to the front. And you know what? All those rumors about Nikita Rizkov leaving and how that has partially come true, well, Nikita's just saying, you know what? I'm going to run the best I can and get this and earn this ride for next season. And he is doing just that. Ooh, he shoved the 7 up a little bit. He wants the lead, and he is going to get it. The RVR Dodge is going to put his car out front, and he is going to lead this lap, I believe. Unless something catastrophic happens, but it does not look like it. So Nikita will lead a lap, and right now it's smooth sailing from here if everything goes to plan. And Jack Newman's just probably scratching his head. He's been one of the quickest cars all week, so definitely confusing to say the least. Looking at Kyle Collins here as we see our mid-race report, lap 13 out of 26. We are halfway through the show. And also I'm going to give a shout out, John Cittadino running 20th. An incredible job at Global Autosports crew, and they are doing a great job sitting inside the top 20. That's exactly what run that the team needed. And the only car out of the race is Addison Steinbach with that slip-up in the turn 3. But for Collins, he's been running alright. He's running 5th right now in the race. Gone around Rick Witt, trying to hound the 99 at Daniel Voiles. But you see, the front 3 have just been running some of the quickest lap times, and there is nobody to contest. Well, maybe Jay Durrell has something, but currently those 2 cars aren't really making it easy on him, as they are becoming very big roadblocks. Durrell cursing over the radio, telling them to get out of the way. But I don't think Durrell really has the strength that he think he does, because the front 3 are just, they almost have a 10-second lead on the field at this point. So definitely the 16-7 and the 70 are the favorites to win this race today, especially with no cautions. We got some National Racing teammates back here, but I'm going to just throw something out there that's kind of unheard of. National Racing has been sucking lately, and with Jack Newman out front, it's hard for me to say that. We did see Jay Barker get a win, but for the other 2, the 2 new recruits, Aaron Lukes and Arsha Sain, they have not lived up to any expectations, really. And it's been kind of hard to see that. Aaron Lukes is sitting 18th in points, but Arsha Sain's 27th, so both of those drivers not really doing exactly perfect, but for a top team like National Racing, we expect to see better. Barker really just trying to lead the charge here for the team, as Newman is sitting 21st as well, so a veteran like him shouldn't be outside the top 20 at this point. But National Racing just lacking the power they seem to have the last few years, but really this year though, it hasn't been there for National Racing. Or maybe not. Jack Newman going right back around the 16 car, and will he take the lead? Oh, it looks like he's going to sacrifice. We might be seeing green flag pit stops here, actually. Well, he got the lead for a little bit, but Nikita Rizkov is going to be going right back on by. Now, this could also be a strategy game here, as Newman might have actually gotten underneath the 16, so Nikita couldn't come to pit road, which that might be a good strategy, but that's all up in speculation at this point. But Newman, he's going to have a lap fresher tires than these guys. Or actually, he's gonna be able to run a lap with fresh tires sooner than the other guys. Obviously, he'll be caught a lot quicker though, so we're gonna have to see how this all plays out. As you see, everyone else pretty much comes down the second time. That first time, I believe 5 cars went in, including Jack Newman. However, the Jack Newman strategy play, that really did not work out well, because you see Nikita Rizkov has only pulled away from the 7 car, and this isn't long after pit stops too. He just lost all this time on pit road, which is quite confusing, because being the only one on pit road, you're supposed to have a quick time compared to being cluttered. However, Nikita Rizkov showing that really he wants to win this race. Ooh, he got a little wide there, and Newman's going to close the gap just a little bit. Big Motorsports has been on top of their game. They pretty much took the power that National Racing had last season and have put it to good use. We even see Kyle Singer having a great run. You see him in the Heineken Chevy, running the Heineken scheme that the drivers other than Derek Petrie ride, and Cody Russell we saw drive this scheme last year. He'll be driving the scheme again at Bristol, just like last year, so good to see some familiar paint schemes again from last season return. Heineken, a huge sponsor at Big Motorsports, but definitely that team has been strong all year so far. Michael Jones, we talked about him as winning at Watkins Glen. That was the last road course we went to, in chronological order at least. But for Michael Jones, he has not had the quick car here today. He's been around a mid-20 car. Still not a bad run. I mean, getting a mid-20 run is good for him since he is 24th in points. So he probably will gain on some of the competition in front of him, specifically Zach Cars, who's running one position in front. He'll gain on him. As we see a battle down the backstretch, Brian Boone out of nowhere, he's going to challenge Jack Newman for second. I believe Jack Newman's tires are playing a factor in his run right now. Newman, I believe, pitting one lap earlier is going to hurt his overall speed as the race goes on here from these last 3 laps. And Boone is really put on the pressure now, as maybe he has a shot to get at Nikita Rizkov. Looking at Kyle Collins, he just got moved out of the way by Darrell, who's really been held up this entire race. He had one quick lap, and that was when he passed 3 cars in the first lap, but after that his lap times have fallen off. However, I'd also like to point my finger at Jose Vaquez. He's running a great race. And who is that off in the tires? Oh no, I don't see Nikita on the scoring board anymore. Disaster, what happened? And we're looking on board, Jack Newman, he blows up. Nikita Rizkov leading the race is gonna blow up with 2 laps to go. Excuse me, 3, and Newman's gonna have nowhere to go and run into the back of him. And 2 of the 3 front runners that were having such great races, the race has definitely gone hill, one a little bit more extreme than the other, but talk about disappointment for Jack Newman and Nikita Rizkov respectively. But talk about a great break for Brian Boone. Boone scored a win at Charlotte earlier this year. Can he make it? Can he be the first driver to score 2 wins? Before this season, Brian Boone had not gotten one single win in his 2 full years of competition. However, it changed at race 3 at Charlotte when he scored the win. Not out of nowhere, but still a kind of a big surprise from everyone. And he might get it here. And we got another accident on the backstretch. This is off of the backstretch, the final corner, the final corners of the track. Arshad Sain involved and Brock McMahon. Let's see what happened. And oh no, it's going to be John Cittadino involved in that one. And Zach Cars is going to get a piece. And Tyler Selspin's going to go for a ride. And he'll save it. The Flowmaster Toyota gets back on track. However, this will end Arshad Sain's day with 2 laps to go. Brock McMahon will soldier on at least to try to make it around. However, heavy damage for both of those cars. And we're going to see a crash on the second to last lap of the race and the second lap of the race. Other than that, no wrecks so far today. Final lap is in the air for Brian Boone, as without any competition, his race is pretty easy out there. You see Jack Newman, he's actually under fire from Jose Vaquez. And I gotta point out, Jose Vaquez has really come to life. He was about 10 laps ago, so the tires that they put on really have helped him. And he is charging to the front of the field. He might actually be able to contest for Brian Boone's win if he had a few more laps. Looking back here, Daniel Voiles, Jay Durrell, and Kyle Collins. Not the dominating run that we expected from Jay Durrell. Oh no, and Kyle Singer is going to blow up. And on the final lap too, so Kyle Singer running a top 15. That is not going to end up that way, as Kyle Singer coasts down the final corners, the S's if you will, to go to pit road and out of the race. However, for Brian Boone, he is in a different world. Out of the final corner, the Shock Top Dodge will take the second win of the season and be the first repeat winner of the year. Checkered flag will go to Brian Boone. And Bad Dad Racing, what an incredible performance. Boone had one of the best cars all day. However, arguably got it handed to him, as Brian Boone will do his burnouts. Either way, he definitely scored the win. Jack Newman pulls off a second. However, he could have gotten the win and could have gotten them a lot of points. As you saw Jose Bequeza, a great run by him as well, looking through the field. Eric Willis, your points leader, he might not be there anymore after this race, finishing 23rd. In the final 14, you see Arjla saying Nikita Rizkov, an engine failure, not what he wanted to see with 3 laps to go. I'm sure of it. It's trying to impress Red Pipe Racing. He definitely showed it today, but like a lot of his races, he didn't get the finish he needed. But you see we got a two-way tie for the top of the board now. Eric Willis and Brian Boone. Jay Durrell now up to 3rd, only 3 points back. And here is the cut line. You see Michael Jones and Blaine Keys in, Daniel Voiles and Dion Scott out. Anyways, that's all for now, and we'll see you next week for Race 7 at Road America. This is the ASCA League, signing out.